him to do it.
Well, pick and ban's underway. Aurelia taken out there along with Yasuo, taken away from Self, who of course is a big champion for him, but it can be hit and miss. Has sometimes put himself into those dangerous situations.
Yeah, and remember how Kerb said in the pre-game he expects SUPA to target him in the mid lane and towards the bottom lane? Well, first ban was Aurelia against Kevin. Banned in every single game by SK Gaming, actually. Because they expected, or they were afraid of Kevin snowballing the game with his teleports, especially down to this bottom lane. So the same ban as SK Gaming did in their games against Millenium, coming in here from SUPA Hot Crew.
Well, Fizz, as you mentioned, Mundo also taken away. And this is what we talked about. Focusing on Mima. So this could put him in a dangerous situation. Zillion taken away. We saw Kurt pulling that one out back in the quarterfinals to not great effect. Maokai finally banned out. Nidalee is available. Let's see if Mima wants to go for it. As you mentioned, Kassadin also out there for Selfie. We saw this as the bait that had before.
Yeah.
Kassadin was first picked by Legacy a few games ago.
And was first picked by SUPA Hot Crew in the first game against Rocket, where Rocket just went Elise, Orianna, and went for this fast push setup instead. And Kassadin never had a chance to actually scale into late game. He just sat in the lane, he had no wave clear, and just lost his towers left and right. It happened for the team as well, and they were completely outpicked in the game. So, not expecting Kassadin just yet from SUPA Hot Crew.
Well, there is the cow in that top lane. Or will it be support for Kasing? Kasing did try it, of course. It does give options, and we talked about it. There is Tristana. It seems that Creaton wants to go towards that one alongside Kha'Zix.
Really like that. We get some hyper carries on the board from Creaton from the start.
We get the Rengar Kha'Zix going here.
We could. Oh yeah, and Pale of course loves to play Rengar and is priding himself in the fact he was a better Rengar player than Cotnex. So maybe he wants to pull it out now and really show it. But Kha'Zix has really come up as one of the main junglers now in Europe, because there's like been changes and nerfs to all the other junglers, and Kha'Zix now with the evolved W, started by Diamond actually, is very strong because you poke a lot. You don't focus on like just all inning, except for if you get someone low enough, then you jump in with the all in. But you provide some wave clear. You're actually very safe. You can even counter jungle because you can jump over walls on the Kha'Zix and just focus on poking from range with the W and then steal the camps. So it's been one of the main jungle picks in Europe the last few weeks here, and of course Tristana for Mr. Creaton. He doesn't want to deal with their mid-game pressure now. Now he just has a very bad mid-game compared to what he has before.
So massive amount of crowd control for the SUPA Hot Crew now, as Elise and Morgana also get locked in. So stuns all around right now.
Yeah, and it's just such a good setup when you have Elise Morgana together, because you have this double bind or double snare you can have lock down one target, and also because it means you now have a comp which can do multiple things. You can siege up a tower because you have disengage from Morgana, because you have range from Elise, and of course because you can land CC on the tower if people are trying to wave clear. At the same time though, you can also split push again because you have so much disengage from these. You can also play a pick comp now all of a sudden because you have so much single target CC you can land, also of course with the cow in there. So Morgana and Elise has just been one of the best combos you can make in terms of jungle and support. And SUPA Hot Crew can be very happy with the pickup here. And of course means it's going to be Alistar top lane and not support.
So at the moment, Nami being hovered over. What will they go with? It's going to be Lulu. That could well be for Kevin in the top lane, I feel. So he has adjusted. We'll see whether it works out okay for him. Could come in lane for Kerr, but I don't see it.
No, I don't really see Kerr playing these utility mid laners. One of the reasons he seems to dislike Orianna as well, for probably the same reason. He wants to be the guy who can really carry, wants to be the guy who can snowball the game. And if it's off a top lane, against Alistar, it should mean Kevin can just push down the lane 24/7, poke from range, and Alistar should never be able to kill a Lulu because you have so many shields, you have your wild growth, and you can just kite him around as well once the knock-up ends. Therefore, the Lulu pick should mean Millenium can apply a lot of pressure in this top lane.
Let's see if that gets locked in or not. Lucian, nope, gonna get switched to Cogmore. Will Katarina be picked out here for Selfie? Could be an interesting one, and more importantly, has Mr. Arla's been practicing in the break, and has he adapted and finally switched over to Cogmore?
He didn't play it a single time in the quarterfinals. 2 times SUPA had to ban it, which meant Rocket picked up Maokai as their first pick, and 2 other times he was left open and Selva picked it and just destroyed the SUPA Hot Crew. So I really like the fact that Mr. Arlas has adjusted his pick here, and also like the fact that Millenium possibly were baiting out this Orianna.
Yeah, so Katarina was switched to Orianna. Still gives them a massive amount of shields, crowd control, heals. This is a very similar team comp to
what Rocket ran.
Trying to think, yeah, what Rocket ran. It's pretty much just
It is.
It is Rocket's comp.
It is actually Rocket's comp right here from game one
yeah.
against the SUPA crew. They figured out that worked pretty well. We didn't know what to do against it. Let's just pick the exact same comp for us. And let's hope they've actually practiced it, because no Rengar now from Pela. He's on to at least. He needs to do what Jankos is doing. And when you have the lanes pushing down to the towers, he needs to move between them and get these towers down early, and therefore get the big goal lead. And then, of course, you need to be careful on the other side, because there's a Talon. And Talon can destroy your AD carry in just a matter of a few seconds, especially once he gets brutalized a last whisper, and it will deal true damage to your AD carry. So Kerp here, as we like to see, Mon Assassins need to snowball, but also really opens up for Imperial to say, I'm going to focus this mid lane, because shut down Talon early on, and it's going to be hard for him to do anything.
Well, it's going to be very hard for him to catch on to him, though. Tristana's a slippery little sucker to jump on, and when you've got that much CC around you, as well as the headbutt pulverize coming out all around, we'll see how it works out. More importantly, we're going to see how Mima works out on Alistar as the champion. Of course, we saw a lot of last week. Worked very well for Xaxus. A lot of people discussing, of course, the Trinity Force Static Shift, Frozen Heart. We've also saw Impact, of course, going Rod of Ages, going to the mage side because he had an AD mid. But I expect to see possible Trinity Force coming out here.
It should be, because you have Orianna mid lane, so you already have some magic damage. Therefore, Trinity Force is first item from Mima expected.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game one underway. This is the 5th place playoff position. Super Hot Crew versus Millenium. And this is an important game for the two teams. Of course, this is a best of 5. We are on 4.13. So all of the changes. Super Hot Crew, well, they have mimicked exactly what Rocket played against them in the quarterfinals game 1.
100% here, and it means Super Crew has an insanely strong team fight comp here. Even at the mid game, it's actually fairly decent for them, and then late game, of course, they will be pretty strong, both with Selfie and Mr. Rallis here. And then you have the Elise, you have the Morgana to set up picks to also disengage. And of course, Mima, who can actually do some split pushing on this Alistar and then TP in, join the fights. And if you look at on the Kerp side, or for Millenium with Kerp on Talon, you can split push, but against an Alistar who has 70% damage reduction, it's not going to be easy to kill him one-on-one unless Kerp can jump him twice. Otherwise, we actually might see Millenium focus on teamfights themselves once they get to a late game point, because Creator needs to scale up to the late game.
We'll see how it works out at the moment. No signs of an invade for either team. Mr. Rollins looks like he's going to switch lanes, though. You can see the straightaway there. Did they have vision of it? I think they did. I think they saw the lane swap coming.
So this is very, very, very smart by Super Hot Crew, especially because Tristana and Nami is such a good poke lane early on. You have sustain, you have a lot of damage from Creaton, and of course Jiri can even join in because you max your W on Nami, so you have some decent poke as well. So smart enough here by Super Hot Crew to actually go for the lane swap. The only problem could be when actually the lane swap against Rocket, in every single game they played in the quarterfinals, they end up losing out on it because they often they let Mima like 1v2 the bottom lane, which simply meant he always got denied a lot of farm and he fell very far behind, and then he had 0 impact in the games.
Right, yeah. It's going to be Cotnex starting out the blue buff. It's a red buff start for Impaler. Looks like they're going to be running that buddy system while Cotnex is all on his own, because you can see Kevin is actually up soloing out the golems. I think he was just up on the top there, so he will go about. No, he didn't. He just stayed a hell of a long way back and actually protected the red buff. Sims was expecting to maybe invade there. They didn't have any vision of it.
Yeah. Didn't have any wards in the jungle of Super Crew either. We actually saw Jiri run in to check the red buff to see, okay, he saw it was gone. He knew now. Super Crew started their own red buff. Don't worry, they're not in our jungle waiting for Cotnex to kill him. Because that was a tactic in the quarterfinal used by SK Gaming to heavily invade on Cotnex all the time, kept running into his jungle. Svensson kept going in there with help from his side lanes to try and shut him down, because Cotnex is so important for Millenium. They do have strong laners, but he's always the guy who helps really snowball in the lane. He's the guy who really helps getting the kill in the lane they need to take control of the game and get these objectives we always talk about, because Millenium as a team, they have to get kills to get objectives. They don't outsmart the enemy team. So it's going to be a lot about Cotnex.
Well, there's a lot of people gathering in this top lane. Kasing taking a fair bit of punishment. Kevin sidestepping just around there. They're looking at the tri-bush. Mima and Impaler, they're going to walk straight onto Jiri. They're going to see them. Cotnex just over the side there. Jiri does spot them out. Quick ward placements will stop that attack dead in its tracks.
So a lot of people up in this top lane here to help Kevin pick up some farm. while Mimar is still running around the jungle. Now he's going to TP down to this bottom lane. I was about to say he should probably get his ass down there. Otherwise, he will lose out on a lot of farm. Of course, Creaton is not really able to punish him one-on-one on the tower, so it should be a lot of farm and XP now picked up by Mimar.
So, at the moment, say Selfie in that mid lane. Super Hot Crew currently farming up fairly well. They're going to keep the pressure going in the mid lane as well. It's interesting to see how this Talon Orianna is going to work out for them, though, because obviously we did see Selfie pick up Exhaust. It is required for him, while the Ignite, of course. And Talon is an interesting one. I remember speaking to Froggen about this one the other day, and he was just sort of talking about Talon is such a scary hit-and-miss champion to pick.
Yeah, exactly. It's very high risk, high reward. If you do get a few kills early on, you can just destroy the entire game alone, because you can one-shot all these squishes here from the side of Super Hot Crew. And actually, the hard part about Exhaust against Talon is he's often popping his ult before he actually joins the fight, so he's in stealth, which means you can't really exhaust him from the very first burst he can do. So you can always jump in, get a lot of damage off, and then you exhaust him for the next round of damage from the Talon. Therefore making it a bit hard to actually shut him down. And another reason why Super Hot Crew really needs to be careful they don't give some early kills over to Kerb here. Because we have seen him in the past take control of the games on these Assassins, but we've also seen him, I wouldn't say lose the game alone, but we have seen him fall very far behind and have zero impact on Assassins too.
I see Kerb trying to keep that pressure on him. He has got a CS lead over Selfie so far. Top laners, we haven't seen a great deal between them because they've kind of been singled out 2v1 in. Cotnex is once again making his way up. This could be a 3v1 pile on to Kevin in this top lane. He's stuck on that tower. He's going to have the help of Cotnex, but you can see Kasing now coming in there. Smites it away there, manages to get in. Impaler tried to set that up. Impaler tried to set up for Kasing there. He smited away the minion, but Dark Binding didn't get fired by Kasing.
No, I'm not sure why he delayed it, but Cotnex and Kevin still staying around. Let's see what Kasing can do now. And there it is.
Does manage to catch on towards him. Cotnex is going to get ignited, but it's not enough damage. Mr. Rollers was not helping out. And simply put, it does just pull him away, but Kevin's returning. He is not too pressured by this one yet.
But he also really needs to farm, because down his bottom lane, Mimar has been able to just stand at his tower and get so much XP from all the waves. Again, it's going to push into him. He's level 5, Kevin only level 3 at this point, so he's falling behind in XP. He has to stay in the lane, otherwise he's going to be completely gone and completely out of the game, going to be too far behind in levels to do anything. So Mimar here, been doing a good job, and also Millenium not been able to freeze the lane at any point, so Mimar's just been standing down here and picking up all this CS. Yes, okay, he doesn't have too much farm, but it's all about the XP now, all about hitting the level 6 point.
We'll delay them, but it's obviously going to be both of them delayed as well. Pulverized down there as he tramples on over the minions. There's a good turnaround from Creaton, but he is about to hit 6, so you're not really going to kill that cow on his tower. Kerb heading down south just to get that pink ward down. We'll spot out and clear the vision that the Super Hot Crew are in river.
And we have to remember with both these top laners, because they are utility champions, you can fall behind in terms of gold and still be very useful, because you provide either a lot of HP, shields, slows from Lulu, of course, the Whimsy, you have the knock-up engage potential from an Alistar, and 70% damage reduction. It's not really affected by your gold. It's going to be 70% damage reduction no matter what, which means even an Alistar can fall behind. However, the issue is that he needs to build Trinity Force if we're going to see him go the same route as Xaxus did on Alistar. And getting a delayed Trinity Force is not going to be good for him, because it's actually going to mean he won't be able to kill people alone in a one-on-one, and therefore make him a lot weaker and make him focus purely on just team fighting and be like this utility tank instead of actually a damage dealer.
Looks like he's having a great time according to the camera. Both of them look like they're really enjoying this 2v1 situation. I know I was speaking to a lot of top laners.
They all love it.
This is something
they really love it.
They don't enjoy too often. At the moment, though, Creaton doing a good job at holding it off.
Notice here, 2 members from Super Hot Crew down this bottom lane.
We're going to go in there to pulverize headbutt on J-Ree, sends him into the tower. Of course, no damage was done, so the tower was not hitting him. Impaler catching on towards him. Have they got enough damage? Kasing comes in. They should take him down. It's Impaler with first blood.
Very nice setup here. J-Ree and Creaton felt very confident they could actually start hitting the tower. And Mimar just saw the opportunity. Instant flash Q, knocked him back into the tower here. And even though there was a flash from J-Ree, he just got right back into the face of the cow and couldn't actually escape here. So first blood from Super Hot Crew. Nice little rotation from the top lane with both Impaler and Kazing to come down here and set up this play here. Now they're probably looking for standard lanes. Feel like they've gotten enough in this lane swap and can start doing normal lanes.
Well, Self is in trouble here. They're pouncing towards him. Kurt's going to jump on towards him, gets the silence down. The exhaust used from Self is not going to be enough. Shockwave does not go off because he died in time. And that was a simple kill for Millenium.
And it's always a little bit strange with Selfie. He seems to be the player in Europe who always end up being the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm not sure why. In the quarterfinals as well, he was caught out of position so many times. Right here as well, walking out, Connex jumps him, he gets the slow in, and Kerb just joins in. Even though there was an exhaust, you see Kerb delaying his ulti and just pick up a kill here. And again, we keep talking about how you cannot give early kills to a talent because he will be so strong going later into the game. And he's ahead in farm. He has the kill, got a blue buff as well. Kerb is looking pretty strong already.
Oh, we see Impaler's going to try and counter this one. He's already heading straight over towards the blue. Dragon started off, in fact. They know that the smite is down on Cotton X, so they're going to try and burn this one down. He needs the help, though, of course. He's just doing it on his own with his little spiders. It is quite possible, but there's not a lot of help coming his way. He's going down half the hit points already. He should be able to take it. He's level 6, remember. And he's going to sneak it out.
This is very smart by Subaku and Kazing. The reason he doesn't actually run to the Dragon and help Impaler is he wants to return to the lane instantly. So Millenium doesn't actually expect Subaku to be doing the Dragon, so they don't have like an estimated timer now. Because they saw Kazing run up into the lane. That's pretty normal to see someone go in and deep ward in your jungle and just return instantly. No help on Dragon from Kazing. So Millenium at the moment don't actually know the Dragon has been taken. And that was just also a smart play because the two members from Millenium were at the blue buff. They saw Cotnex use the smite and also run towards the top side. So nice little pick up here from Impaler.
Well, we'll see how it works out for him. He's gone for the Fiendish Codex actually alongside the Spirit Sight Stone. So Selfie now coming back into the mid lane. Looks like it's going to be a potential Zhonya's first item for him. Of course, he did go Tear of the Goddess early on Orianna this time around.
So it is actually pretty smart because he needs the mana regen and he can stack it pretty fast. And instead of going Athenes, which gives him no armor, which means it's going to be useless against Kerb, it's actually smart to go Tear and then go into Hourglass. And once he has the Hourglass, he can survive the burst coming in from Kerb, of course. And down to this bottom lane, they swap back Subaku, so we now have the 2v2 lane. Still slightly in favor of Creaton and Jerry. Even though Jerry is actually only level 5 at this point, and Kazing is level 6.
Mima's taking a bit of burst damage from Kevin there. Basic attack range over Mima. Held on to both of their ultimates though, so nobody really going too deep on that one. Mr. Rales just farming out on towards his tower. Had pressured a little bit, but he's just going to clear this wave out and push back in. We just saw Creaton Rocky jumping away, which tells me he is going to go back and buy. And for BF Sword, first item has got a little bit of gold on him. We'll see what he goes with. 900 gold, and we'll go straight to a pickaxe.
Okay, so not actually building Static Shiv as his first item. We see a lot of AD carries, especially in Europe, do pickaxe or BF sword on your first back, depending on how much gold you have. And then second one, you actually build towards the Static Shiv, get the attack speed, and it's very smart to provide some extra wave clear. But this time around, Creaton feeling like he's getting enough farm in the lane to rush the Infinity Edge and get it as the very first item. And up in his top lane, Kevin really been controlling it on his Lulu, and we also see the reason for the Lulu pick into the Alistar, because he can bully him a bit in the laning phase.
Selfie taking a big rake there from Kerb. Darkbind in lands, but still fairly passive in the lane phase at the moment. It's kind of what I expected.
Needs to be careful.
Oh, he's going to walk straight in. Kerb fancies this one, pops the ultimate, gets the damage down, repels away. Selfie's going to come around. Defensive ball is ready for him, but look at that. The Ignite burning away on him. Has to flash away from this one. Got to be careful. The wave, is that going to catch him? I don't think it will. That's a pretty deep wave coming out from Jerry. A little...
yeah, not really sure why Kevin
didn't
actually...
presumptuous maybe there.
Well, I'm not sure why Kevin didn't actually cancel his teleport as soon as Impaler was out of range. Because Mima canceled his teleport, so it's going to be ready before.
They wanted to go for the dragon. Again, this is going back to it.
Oh, yeah.
This is what it was. They didn't know the dragon was there. They invested everything into that. Had no idea the dragon was there. And like you said, wasted teleport and everything. Everything was gained from Mima there. Mima actually was teleporting as well. I just he teleported to the top.
He just canceled the teleport, I believe, and then stayed in this top lane to get some extra farm and push it in. Which, yeah, of course, the dragon. Millenium was like, let's get a kill, let's get the dragon, get the goal lead. Impaler said no from before, because he sneaked it on Elise. Something he actually does pretty often when he plays Elise. And we also see a little bit of difference here compared to Legacy eSports when they play Elise. and they have always built like Ancient Golem, Carbon as your first item. Impaler will always go Spectral Rage. Pretty much all LCS elites will to get some early dual power with AP.
Impaler risking it there. Tower goes down, first one of the game for Millenium though. And that was Kerp doing the damage. So, as you mentioned, Millenium have no idea on the timer. They're going to have to keep that warded up on the Dragon. That was taken for Impaler. And Impaler actually on Elise, it was a champion that basically he qualified with. It was one of the strongest champions he played right at the beginning, back in the Dignitas days when he was on Dignitas UK before he moved across to Super Hot Crew.
He was actually known to be a one-trick pony jungler who could only play Elise jungle. So after he played in the first 2 games against SK Gaming in the promotion tournament, and they actually banned it. And remember, of course, SK Gaming managed to win 3 games in a row and actually qualify. One of the reasons was the fact that Impaler didn't get Elise and didn't actually have an impact in any of the games after he was banned.
Talent going looking, Kerp took a cocoon, but still continuing the pressure. Remember, blue buff was stolen away by Cotton-X on Millenium last time, so they have the timing on this one, and they are looking ready to try and take it once again. Impaler's feet going defensive. Meanwhile, Kraton down the bottom. Black Shield comes out. Kraton has to rocket jump away. No dark binding from Kasing. Could have gone for Soul Shackles and Ignite as well. Probably could have got the kill. But there was a heal for Kraton, so maybe not.
At least maybe they could have traded flashes for your support flash for the AD carry flash, and then for the next team fight you could focus on trying to kill Kraton. Didn't actually want to be too aggressive. And we do see both teams, except for probably Kerp in this mid lane, be very, very cautious. Don't want to take any chances. Remember, again, if you do lose the game, or if you do lose the best out of 5, you are down to the promotion tournament. So nobody really taking any chances in this game for the first one. I'm sure it's going to speed up for the next few games where people are like, okay, now we had our first games, the nerves are gone, let's really start playing the game.
Well, Millenium are starting to ward out the jungle of Super Hot Crew, starting to take control of this. Look at Kerp waiting off the side. They want to jump on Kasing, they may well be able to do it. Looks like he's not going to go fully committed on this one. They're going to flash engage. Super Hot Crew come around defensive, and this is a tricky situation for Super Hot Crew. When that first tower goes down in the mid lane, you have the mid lane, especially on a talent, an assassin, that could roam, could keep pushing, and just keep Super Hot Crew guessing.
I would actually expect Kerp to buy mobility boots soon and start roaming between the lanes. And from what I've seen from his talent in solo queue as well, he loves to build Infinity Edge as his 3rd item. Once he completes that, he's gonna be so insanely strong and can just one-shot everyone. At this point, if he does jump someone like Mr. Alice or Kasing, he should be able to kill them as well.
Well, with the Dragon now spawned, Millenium see it, so timer advantage gone to Super Hot Crew. Of course, vision advantage is very much in favor of Millenium because of this. Blue buff is being picked up by Selfie. Kraton once again, rocket jumping away. Kasing not even close to landing that dark binding. There was a row of minions in his way. I'm not even sure why he tried to fire it off.
Well, Cotton-X now clearing the ward here, so Millenium wants to control the river. Kerp was thinking about going down to this bottom lane, decided to actually go back to mid lane. So once again, we are just in for a pretty long laning phase after the standards we normally see. It's been the last few weeks in the LCS, the teams have really started to be more aggressive, especially early game, we see a lot more action. But that's normally also when we have junglers like Jarvan being locked in, or at least Sin, and we have all this early game action from these junglers. Impaler and Elise did have the first gank, he did pick up a kill, but then he's been pretty passive since, and I haven't actually seen Cotton-X in the game yet.
And again, talking to Froggen about this, like the slowness, as you can tell, I have a lot of conversations with
you
Froggen.
talk a lot with Froggen.
We do cross a lot of words while we're down the local establishment.
Local pop.
Local pop, basically. Basically, what he was saying is, like, obviously it's the same for a lot of European teams, SK and Alliance especially. It's simply put, they will farm to a certain point. Once they'll hit that item threshold, they go, okay, let's actually finish the game now. Now we're at this point, we know we can finish, and that's the strong point. And that's exactly, if you watch Alliance and SK Gaming do, it's exactly what they do. These teams try to mimic it, doesn't always work out for them. Millenium themselves generally better off with a pick comp, and it's kind of what they've got here this time around again.
Definitely what they have here with Kerp, also some team fight, with it, because they do have the little top lane. But when you have an assassin like Talon, you will always be some kind of a pick comp.
I just wonder how that's going to transition later in, say, world tournaments. Simple Dragon for Millenium there, keeps them on the edge in terms of gold. Blue buff, I think it's going to be kept. No, Kerp fancies it actually. I wasn't sure if Cotton-X wanted to keep it, but Kirk comes in to steal it away. They've given up a lot of damage on that mid lane, though, because they can see that duo pairing of Selfie and Kasing in there, putting the pressure back on him. Impaler just waiting off the side. They fancy a kill here.
Well, Impaler was actually doing Wave Camp instead of taking down. And this is where we see a massive difference also between... Oh, Kirk actually going in. Let's see what he can do.
There's going to be the Soul Shackles. He's not going to land. Selfie caught out by the wave. Cornex puts quick void spikes on towards him. Jerry's going to follow. Millenium now, they have positional advantage, and you can see they're going to use this wave. They want to shove straight down the mid lane.
But really, this is where we see the difference between Rocket and SUPA in the way they play the same comp. Impaler, for whatever reason, went into the jungle of Millenium to kill a Wraith Camp instead of taking the mid tower. And if you look at the way Jankos always plays the Elise for Rocket, it's always full focus on getting the towers down early game with the Elise. You go into the lane, you don't even gank, you walk straight into the lane, you push it up, and you start hitting the tower because you are ranged. Yet Impaler goes into the jungle, takes a Wraith Camp, doesn't even kill the mid tower, even though they've lost their mid tower for like 10 minutes ago, would open up for SUPA to get some deep wards themselves. So I really have to question the way he's playing this Elise at the moment. It's not as effective as Jankos, and also one of the reasons the game is so passive at the moment, because nobody's actually really pushing these towers.
Well, Trinity Forces completed for Mima and Mr. Rales. We'll see how that works out for them. Kevin will take down this top turret. It's the second one of the game for Millenium still. SUPA Crew yet to get one themselves, as we see Mima trampling down the minions. We'll keep our eye on it. Kraton, of course, did go towards that Infinity Edge, as you mentioned. First item in. It looks like Kirk may well be doing the same. He's mentioned that his third item could well be an Infinity Edge. It's what he's been doing in the past. Mima will get a little bit of free time to push on here. Kevin has yet to back. He's just taken away the golems. Wants a little bit of extra gold.
And still these junglers just been sitting and farming. Not really been looking for ganks, except for now maybe. Cornex down his bottom lane. Fires W, and maybe actually gonna see Millenium do the push now, where they can go in and just get a few hits on the tower. Otherwise, it was a very, very strange decision to run down, get the minions low. Obviously, they might just want Kraton to actually push the wave out so he could go back and to base, and just wanted to have like the wave reset. But he only has 700 gold, so it's not like he's gonna go back and buy anything. And he took a lot of poke from actually going in and kill the minions. So we just have to say, from the first game, from the first 21 minutes, we do see why these teams did manage to beat Rocket and SK Gaming in the quarterfinals. And just at the moment, with the way they are actually playing, because it is very, very passive. There's no pushing towers, and Kevin was just allowed to sit in the top lane and take the tower. There was no help from Impaler as well to like kind of push him back. Now he's here, but the tower's already gone, so there's no reason for him actually to really move further out. So passive start, and Millenium got 2 towers for it because been no response from SUPA Crew yet.
Well, information given. They know the jungler is now down the bottom half of the map. That gives Impaler and Selfie free time to quickly get in and get their blue buff. It also means that Mr. Rales is going to step away, and that's going to be the third outer turret of the game. Millenium taking everything in the early stages, even in farm across the board, but all towers now down. Dragon already picked up as well, won the piece. So Millenium finally starting to group here. Impaler's in trouble.
Let's see, Curb running straight at him. Did actually buy him ability boots we talked about before, so he can now roam between the lanes. I like the pickup for him, as long as he gets some kills.
Turn it around, he's going to have to use his stealth to try and get away from this one. Oh, Curb, will he get the attack pull? Shockwave, no! He quickly uses a dodge straight on towards Kirby and puts the exhaust down, flashes out, not enough time. All the jukes in the world are not going to save him there. Aqua Prison catches on Mima. Mima with that 70% armor reduction easily tanks out this one. And they will back away. Meanwhile, of course, the bottom turret went down. Mr. Rales and Kasing managed to get the first turret of the game for the SUPA Crew.
So the roam here from Curb actually backfired because there were 3 members from SUPA Crew collapsed onto him. And Selfie managed to get the shockwave, get the rest of the team to actually kill him. And there was no one from Millenium who could respond in time. And also because Jerry was roaming to this mid lane, the bot tower went down. So suddenly SUPA Crew, because they got a quick kill onto Curb, because they had the roam, can now take the bottom tower, take the mid tower as well, and get some much needed gold. Because the first few minutes, or the first 20 minutes, has been like watching SUPA Crew against Rocket, where they just give up every single tower without doing anything.
Cornex is going to be enough to clear out the wave. His sheer presence was enough to stop Mima, so Mima's going to back off from this one for now. So 3-2 in turrets, something quick 2 turrets. Looks like money in the bank as well for SUPA Crew in that top lane. That equals things up in gold. Dead even between the 2 teams. Farm-wise, fairly close. Kirk is seemingly heading towards that Infinity Edge. You can see the critical crit cloak now in his bag. Meanwhile, it looks like Kraton is finally going to move across the static ship.
So he's actually getting it pretty late here. Another one of the reasons I would like to see static ship as the first item was just like a pickaxe and a BF sword, because you can farm so much faster, you can push out the waves, and you can also get the jungle camps. And if the enemy team does push up to your towers, you have the extra wave clear now from the static ship. But let's see what's going to happen down this bottom lane. Curb is sitting ready because there's a big wave pushing up from Subaru. Was hoping someone like Mr. Riles would walk up to the juicy minions and then he would just jump him and kill him. Instead, though, we see 5 members from Subaru on this dragon. We should see our very first team fight now.
It's going to be a fast dragon. You can see they're going to try and take it down quickly. Impale is in position to smite this one out. The dragon will go before the team fight starts. Or will it? Connex jumps in, gets the smite. Mr. Ryler's in trouble. Kerr jumping on him, but he gets pounded in towards him. And that's a quick turnaround. So, mid lane are now down. Kevin taken low. Connex tries to come in, gets caught out with the down.
So many reasons here.
Pulverize comes out from Mima. Mima going to get focused on. Connex hits one, pounces in, gets a second, pounces in. Will he get the third? Yes, he will, and just pounces straight out. Oh, that's the surprise. Gonna live as well. So Connex gets the steal and a triple kill. Big turnaround for Millenium.
Yeah, and you have resets on Gazix. You have it on Tristana here. Curb actually walked around Subaru. We're just going to see it again. Curb is not part of these 4 members from Millenium. He's behind, jumping Mr. Riles, doing so much damage to both him and Kazing. Meanwhile, the rest of Millenium taking the fight. Everyone from Subaru is kind of panicking at start because their AD carry dropped so low. He's like, oh my god, Curb is behind us. So everyone kind of backs away and moves over to try and kill Curb. They do get him down, but it means the rest of Millenium can just clean up now, get the resets. I was looking at Kraton here, completely forgot about Connex jumping in. He got all the resets and picked up all the kills.
And still gets away. So 3-0-2 Connex making the difference.
Now we just need to see some more fights, especially with the early kills here now from Millenium. With the dragon taken as well, they do have the goal lead. Infinity Edge is completed for Curb here. So now I really want to see Millenium start forcing some fights and just blow up people.
A Black Cleaver also picked up by Connex as well. So expect basically Connex and Curb to just be jumping on Mr. Riles. And without a Thresh to help him out there, he is in a dangerous position. He could well be singled out and taken down. Millenium now back to bite. Getting a couple of items. Kevin almost got that death cap complete. You can see Morelnomicon also in his bag. A lot of pings going down here. Connex will wipe out and give the red buff to Curb. Yep. So he wants to keep the slow on him.
Just critting for 1,000 already, 26 minutes in on the poor red buff. And we also saw in the last fight here, Mimir and Alistar was like, should I go in alone to the backline of Millenium or should I try and go back and help my AD carry? So you actually end up standing in the middle of the fight and doing nothing. So there was not really any front line from Subaru. It was easy for Millenium to poke everyone down and then actually jump straight to the backline after and finish up everyone and get the kills. Which can be a big issue for Subaru because they have to have the shockwave from Selfie or the ball from Selfie on Mimir when he goes in if they want to try and one-shot someone like Kraton. Otherwise, there's nobody who's going to dive the back line other than Mimir here, and he's not going to be able to kill Kraton alone in these fights, especially not with the fact that Kevin is there on the Lulu.
And with the delay, Mimir, of course, had to go towards, it seems like, was he going to go Runion's first? Frozen
Mimir, he's going to go Frozen Heart.
Frozen Heart, but he's not going to go Static Shift, which is kind of what he needs to keep basically Kevin in check, who's about to complete his Rabadon's death cap and will quite easily split push if needed. As you mentioned, the utility that he offers as well could just simply make Connex or Curb a gigantic leaping assassin.
Yep, for sure.
And now they're just going to push straight down mid. Super Hot Crew well out of position here.
Just another reason why Millenium should just go be aggressive now and look for the fight. Mr. Riles has no flash, so once Curb jumps him, he's not going to get away. Like, he has to stay there and take the fight and hope the rest of his team is there to help him and kill Curb. He's not going to be able to run. So Millenium right now should just look for this fight and look for some towers and go straight for Mr. Riles. One-shot him, or at least force all the cooldowns from Super Hot Crew, and then let Kraton and Connex once again clean it up with the resets. And man, I really like this Lulu pick against Alistar as well, because it makes it so hard for Mimir to dive in the team fights, and also the laning phase was heavily in favor of Kevin once they swap back to one-on-one.
Just turn him into a Pix and basically does nothing for a couple of seconds. It is getting a little split push on though, so he will take that tower down. The question is, will they lose this inner turret while they try and pick up that one? He has got teleport available if he's really needed to quickly spring into action. He is going to continue pushing. Kerp is hoping and waiting, and he's going to catch somebody out of the side there. Selfie is actually playing it wise and going wide around this one. He has got a pink ward. I don't think he can see that. Yes, he cannot. Cannot see Kerp's ward, nor can Kerp actually see the pink ward either. So neither gaining from anything there. Top lane didn't continue pushing. We are going to see Mima moving down here, so it's going to be 5 members of the Super Hot crew now. Dark Binding catches on Kevin. No follow-up, but Kratos took a lot of damage. Cocoon follows onto Kevin, but again, Super Hot crew don't want to risk it, and they are playing very cautiously on their tower.
And again, they only have the cow to really jump in here. He's actually going for it. Jerry out of position.
Jerry out, gets the wave off, but it doesn't really make any impact. We do see Cornex taking some damage. They've got vision on towards him. He's going to pounce away. Kasing, will he fire a blind? No, he will not. He'll just carry on walking behind them. Has he got Moby boots? He has. He should be able to catch on towards him, but a good glitter lance from Kevin will slow everything down. They have got a gigantic wave in the top. If anyone wanted to quickly go up and deal with it, maybe Mima could quickly teleport up there and try and push it. But instead, they're going to try and follow this wave through and go for an inner turret of their own.
But how on earth did Jerry just die here? He has flash. Must have been hit by Cocoon and then binding after. Otherwise, binding it's so easy to dodge around with the flash.
Selfie forcing the ultimate out of Kraton there.
No, Kerp died too.
Sorry. Kerp just died.
So every time we don't look at Millenium, they die.
Well, there we go. Now we know the answer of helping Super Hot crew. Yeah. Just don't watch them.
Don't look at them at all. Just look in the base, and we're just going to see kills for Super Hot crew here. Let's see the replay. So Kerp jumping in onto Mr. Alice.
Oh, wow.
Remember, he had no flash.
That was over-aggressive.
He's alone.
I don't know what he was thinking there, honestly. That was suicidal.
It's a bit of like, you know...
Dragging up in 3 seconds, Impaler's like, no, it's up. Nobody's believing him. It's like, no, trust me, it's coming.
Yeah, but look at the Baron here. Millenium instantly moving in because the rest of the Subaku is on the Dragon.
And they have no idea of it, no vision of it.
Mima coming.
No clue that it's coming. Now Mima's moving up there. Have they got the damage to take it down quick enough? It doesn't look like it. They're going to have to peel away. And they can see that the Baron was damaged. Super Hot crew, though, simply the presence of the bull was enough to force them away.
So Super Hot crew got a few kills, got the Dragon here. Very strange decision from Kerp going in 1v4 and just end up actually giving the Dragon because of it. Him going in to die here. So once again, we're kinda going back a little bit to the passive style. Millenium tried to force something. They wanted to get a bot lane tower. Didn't work out. Jerry ended up dying first, even though he had flash and he got hit by Cocoon or binding. From max range, I mean, you have to flash it. Don't even take the chance. Unless, of course, it was Mima who engaged onto him. We didn't actually get to see it. No matter what, he should have flashed away from it.
At the moment, Impaler and crew all in the mid lane. Let's see if they keep on pushing on this one. They're going to try and sweep out and get some ward coverage over at the Baron area. It will, of course, mean that they should be able to take out all the pink wards there, except Mima's just going to... Oh, there he does. He does spot it. No? Yeah, he does finally give it out. So, top lane being shoved in. Mr. Riley's going to push that one through. Millenium just going to blanket ignore them and push straight for the mid inhib.
Seems like once again, Millenium want to try and siege up a tower, even though Kraton is going to be the main guy to hit it. They can always get a few hits, so in that case it works out because they have Kevin as well with some range auto attacks. Let's see what's Selfie here. Oh, Kerp just gonna run away.
Oh, Kerp caught out. Shockwave, exhaust will get taken down. It's gonna be Impaler that picks up the kill on him. They could keep chasing on this one. Millenium backing off once again. Will they take this opportunity with a 40-second death timer to rush straight for Baron?
So you had this perfect start on your Talon. He got early kills. He had Infinity Edge completed at 26 minutes into the game. And then what you've been doing for the last 10 minutes is basically run around, get caught. Both Jerry and Kerp now twice, die, give Subaku the advantage all of a sudden, let them farm up even more, let them get to a late game point as well, where Mr. Alice and Selfie can really start to carry the game. So, very, very strange play by Millenium.
Yeah.
Now they want a base race.
Gonna push in there, they will manage to get some damage on this one, but they can't really tank that one through. Kevin, I don't know what he was thinking there.
They didn't have any minions.
Yeah, got no minions. Guys, we can tank it. No, we can't. We can't. It's not going to work out for us. So it does delay his Super Hot Crew though.
Yes,
Oh, that's
exactly.
a great dart binding catching on towards J-Ree. Is they going to get follow through here? They're going to keep the pressure on. He can just follow him through. You can see Mr. Rallis coming around. If they can land another dart binding, it's going to be coming off cooldown. Forces the flash from J-Ree. They're going to continue pursuing on this one. Kasing going deep on this one. Will follow on through. Will he be able to land a third binding? Oh, if it had stepped to the side, Kraton was there instead. It's just going to force them out of position. And they are back to clearing the waves.
All right, so while it did look a little bit funny, Millenium running down to the tower with 4 members, it did actually make Super Hot Crew instantly recall from the top lane. So while there were 5 members and Kerb was dead, they didn't actually manage to take a Baron or push a tower. So in that case, a small win for Millenium. But I can definitely see what Carbon was talking about with the more passive approach we normally see, or sometimes see here in Europe. The last few weeks, we actually have seen a lot of aggressive games in Europe, but this one definitely goes into the passive book. And
still very even though.
Yeah,
4
very even,
towers
but
apiece.
very different compared to
100 gold difference, 1 killer difference. It's everything still stacked up right now, moving into the as we approach the 40th minute soon enough. Remember, we had a 67-minute Super Hot Crew game against Roccat. Could they go that distance? I'm not too sure. There's a lot of explosiveness in between these teams, and Millenium, if they can catch on to someone, they can get kills, that's for sure. But the control that Super Hot Crew seem to have in these team fights is causing them some serious problems.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of armor stacking from Super Hot Crew going into the late game, where Kevin is the only magic damage, which is going to make it even harder for Millenium to take someone down. And they don't really have a tank either, because Codnex is building full damage. He's going to build some tank now, but it's not going to help him just have like 1 tank item, which means in the late game team fights with all the shields from Super Hot Crew, with the ulti from Mima and all the armor they can build, it's going to be hard to do anything, and they're going in.
Headbutt pulverized, goes in towards Kevin and just destroys him. Impaler's going to repel. He's going to still survive from this one. Well, he's going to drop down. Is he going to be alive? He survives as well. Gets out of there. Kraton, quick pulverize from Mima. Brings him back in. Kirk goes deep on this one. Way too deep. And Selfie gets the defensiveness down. And Super Hot Crew with a shockwave flashed out of both Kraton as well. Cornex is going to avoid this one. So it's a 2 for 0 so far. And the Super Hot Crew this time, they fancy backing off again. Why?
Still though, the aggression here from Mima. As soon as Millenium showed himself at the tower, he just flash queued, knocked back Kevin, killed him. Kerb once again tried to jump into the back line. Instantly, 5 members from Super Hot Crew just collapsed onto him, kill him. And a bit of a split decision also from Kerb. First he wanted to kill Impaler, then he went for Mr. Alice and didn't actually end up killing any of them. And he's gone from being the 1-0 great start to actually die 5 times in a row now.
Well, we talked about nerves earlier on, the fact that you've just got 2 kills, you've got 2-0, you've got a choice of any lane, maybe a Baron, who knows. 5 members alive, a healer, lots of shields. Let's go back to base, guys. Let's just play it safe.
You need farm. You don't have time to go Baron, mate. You have to go farm.
Apparently so. Kevin is doing a good job farming, honestly. He's out farming the cow.
They were a little bit low. Could have maybe been risky, but they should have definitely taken the top tower.
Definitely could have pushed and taken at least something, maybe on towards the inhibitors, because Millenium, they had 3 members that were surviving, did take that top tower, but we can see, of course, a 2-man potential Baron coming out here. Darkbinder does not land the Cornex. Selfie, Mima, and Kasing all trying to run interference on this one. Instead, Impaler goes for it. Cornex is going to have to use that stealth, but he gets caught out with a cocoon. Drops away. Shockwave pulls him straight back, and that is the jungler down for Millenium.
Kerb is here, though. Once again, he's behind Super Hot Crew. He wants a piece of Mr. Alice. Nice, juicy Danish beef. But now, though, he's not been able to get it.
Well,
can't touch it.
Kraton is going to have the range, or is he? He's going to have to come back around the side there. J-Ree winding up the wave. He manages to land an Aqua Prism, but it's on Mima. Does next to no damage, Kraton, on the cow right now. His bovine hide is enough to keep him away. Takes a little bit of punishment. The ball backs into the face. Remember, Shockwave is down, not available, but that Baron is dropped, and the Super Hot Crew get themselves that secured.
And this has basically been Super Hot Crew in the start being very passive and lose a lot of towers, fall behind in gold, gave the kill also to Kerb. But then as soon as if we do ignore the very first team, but let's just see it again here, onto Codnex. It's going to be all about the shockwave from Selfie coming in to actually stop him in midair, and also the knock up from Mima. So Codnex tried to jump away, completely denied, and then back onto the Baron here. But if we just ignore the very first Dragon fight, which went in favor of Millenium, ever since, it's just been Millenium being caught out of position again and again and again. Fall behind, and now Super Hot Crew is running. 5 members all the time. No split pushing here. You don't need it. You can just run 5 members. Keep looking for picks with their Alistar, with their Elise and Morgana combo, and they've been finding them.
I think Impaler's just had a pause to say, guys, did you just see what I did there? I repelled and cocooned him while he was still.
He did repel and cocoon.
And
Well
like,
done.
I did that. I got the Baron and the Dragon for my team. I just wanted to pause it and take a moment
And he's more
to
people to
celebrate.
look now.
Yeah, Sue, did you see this? Did you see this?
Impress him, the girl.
He's like, yeah, I saw it. I saw it. It's amazing. Well done, Impaler. So, quick gather across the items. Baron buff now on Super Hot Crew. It's going to have around about 3.5 minutes because they've just went and took the Dragon down. So they have the kill advantage. They have the tower advantage. They have the gold advantage. Can they push through and finish? Because it seems for Millenium, they've left this lane phase. They took all the 3 outer towers. They were 3-0 up in towers, but they seem basically lost because there is no one to pick off for Super Hot Crew. They're moving around as a group.
And also just every single time Subaru seems to fire a skill shot towards Millenium, they catch someone and either force a flash from them or actually straight up kill them. And then they take Dragon and then they can move on to take a tower and get all the gold they need. And now also they got so much armor. I mean, look here, both Impaler and Mimer getting a lot of armor, making it even harder now for the 3 physical damage members from Millenium to actually kill anyone. And you do have an Alistar, so Super Crew can push up to a tower and just dive straight onto Millenium if they want to. We saw them do it in the top lane. They can do it here. They have the lead, push straight up, put the ball on this Alistar, let him jump into the back line of Super Hot Crew, pop the shockwave, the back line of Millenium, pop the shockwave and become the hero.
Well, speaking of Alistair, has been involved in 100% of the fight so far. 9 assists on Mimer so far. And of course, Mimer, you know, there was a lot of pressure on him. He was in the losing situation in this match last time, pulling out the fantastic Yorick against
It didn't even work in
alternates.
scrims. Didn't even work. But that was actually...
Can we just show the world what your face was like when Yorick was picked?
I actually started crying. I was a bit like, fine, Yorick it is.
Yorick.
And then we lost.
And then you lost.
It wasn't actually Mimer's fault. He played pretty well. It was just Yorick at that point, unless you were called. So
he was obviously ahead of his time
anything.
because Yorick now is a legit pick in that lane. Nonetheless, we are back in the game. Super Hot Crew have resumed and Millenium are behind. What will they do with this Baron? They're going to have around about 3 minutes. They're all going back to base, spending their well-earned gold. And we do see Spirit Visages coming out. Frost Queen has been upgraded as well. Impaler going for a Frozen Heart. So tankiness coming out of him. Infinity Edge also picked up by Mr. Rala. So lots of damage and tankiness suddenly stacking out. Their team fighting ability will be very strong coming into this next game. And thinking of Creaton, the damage he was trying to put down on Mimer barely touched him in that Baron pit.
Yeah, for like the 6 seconds we have the ulti running from Mimer. There is pretty much no reason to hit him, but often, sorry, the 7 seconds, you often just don't have a choice because he's gonna be right in your face. So it's really where Subaru has a lot of time to kill whatever member from Millenium actually jumping in. It's also one of the reasons Kerb has just been jumping in kinda alone and they could just collapse on him because Mimer was taking all the damage anyway. And in that case, it's been working out in their later stages of the team fights. But it's still just more about Millenium being caught out of position again and again and again and give up the entire lead they had.
You could also argue that Kerb's gone a little bit too deep.
Maybe just a little bit. Then again, Mr. Alice is a very good-looking guy, so I don't blame him for jumping towards him. I would have
tasty target, but honestly,
he is a tasty target.
As a talent,
he's a bit skinny though.
This is the problem with the talent. And honestly, against the team comp that is running right now, you're going to go in there and you 100% are going to get crowd controlled. There's no doubt about it. You need to try and pick off a juicy target, but there's no one doing the long-range poke, the long-range damage to get those juicy targets. Instead, they're just going to push through. Millenium are going to have to give up this tower. You can see they're already backing away.
It definitely makes it harder for Kerb, but I honestly feel Cotnex needs to just jump in with him and
commit
2-3 members at once. Maybe even see someone like Creaton go full aggressive, jump past Mimer if he can, because these targets will drop so low once all the burst wins from Kerb. But it's of course, it's never anything you want to do as an AD carry, jump into the middle of the team fight. You want to get a kill first, or you want to kill the front line first. So it makes it very hard for Creaton in these team fights.
It worked for Holy Phoenix. That's all I'm saying.
It did sometimes. He also ended up dying a few times.
He did, but he also got the pentakill, so that's what counts. We'll see whether anyone from Millenium can do the same. I know, right? So this tower's going to go down. Millenium, they have to give up on this one. I mean, they're up against the Baron up team that's beaten them in the last 2 team fights already, so not too sure what they were hoping to achieve. They're just trying to poke down, do anything, but the regen is too strong. Selfie, will he put himself out of position? While this is all happening, Mima, he's working through that mid lane. He's putting the pressure down. Selfie's just going to rotate across, and now he'll start hammering down on that mid turret, which is already going to drop. And Millenium losing 2 inhibitor turrets with this one Baron. Oh, Cocoon lands on Connex, followed by JCC with that Dark Binding. He will just be able to leap out in between the timer, but that's going to be the first inhib down. Second one, also just to the right-hand side, is free. Kraton caught out, taken very, very low. J-Re caught out. Now he Dark Binding, pulverize on towards him, trample through there. If he doesn't manage to get the damage down, they don't get the kill. Connex trying to get the reset in, but the Dark Binding will catch on. He will be the first man to fall for Millenium. Now we see Kirk going in, gets one, does not get the other though, but he manages to take down the cow of all things. SUPA Crew, they may back out of this one.
But we just see the thing we just talked about before, SUPA Crew can just walk straight into the base and look for the fight. So Millenium were forced to back away from their own tower, give up the inhibitors, and potentially even the game right here.
Whoa! Flash shockwave from Selfie. Flashy moves indeed. Takes down J-Re. That could be the game, and SUPA Crew are going to go through in this best of 5. Kraton, the damage on him is huge. SUPA Crew take the game. They are 1-0 up in the series.
So a bit of a shaky start from the SUPA Crew. Reminded me a lot about the Rocket game where they gave up all the outer turrets very early on and didn't really seem to have any response until they managed to get a pick, got some towers themselves, did then lose a dragon fight, but from there on out, it was just all about Millenium being caught out of position, lose the entire lead,